Hello everybody, this is Matt with the Low Cash Homestead. It's raining a little bit this morning, but we're going to do this anyway. So we're going to run some drip tape out on a new line of product that I put in. This drip tape I don't like as much. I forget exactly where I get it, but instead of having each dripper molded in, it's got this like rib on the bottom. And this particular roll has been rather twisty. So it's been hard to get it to lay exactly like I want it sometimes. I have a little ammo can. I got a Harbor Freight $5 toolbox. Works great I keep my fittings and all the tools I use every time I run the drip tape in this little ammo can, as well as a package of landscape pins because it helps to secure everything in place. We re-ran all this loop around here, try and keep it out of the grass. I had to use a little extra line, but I'm trying to reduce how many things I have to pull up when we do maintenance, lawn maintenance. So I'm going to run that. We planted another line of product here. I lost a line of product in the greenhouse. Either the weather changed faster, or I didn't plant it soon enough and I lost the crop. So we're at our third string of this crop. Actually, our second string of this crop is outside. I've got misting systems set up so that I can try to cool them down. But this is our third string of our crop, and this is broccoli, and we're moving to the great heat tolerance broccoli, and we're going to see how that does here. Of course, we do have the hammer sprinklers and everything that we run on this garden to try to cool it down a little bit. I am starting to lose some lettuces, meaning they're not tasting like they should. Down at that end, they're worse, and at this end, they're still pretty good. So those are going to have to go quickly, and I'm just going to have to run my way down the row for as long as it lasts, unless the weather breaks. The misting system is helping, but it's been 92 degrees for a week or so, and that's not working. Now today it's 64 degrees and it's raining. so there we go. But I lost a crop in the high tunnel. At least 50% of it I'm going to go through and prune the bolting off. So we planted our third string crop of that, and that's broccoli. And this is the great heat tolerance broccoli. I don't remember the name of it. Oh wait, I can find out. Let's go check the post. Boop, ba boop, ba boop, ba boop, ba boop, ba boom. Ba boom, ba boom. Something's already digging in it. Boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom. This is the Sun King broccoli. So that's our third string broccoli. That's one of the things we're doing today. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Here's a low cash tip. These holes are laid out 12 inches. When you lay your holes out with your tape measure, if you're using a fabric like this, mark them with some chalk, because burning these with a flamethrower, burning these through with a flamethrower, I've got several burns on my tape measure. So I learned, mark them with chalk. Chalk will dry a mark on this, and it's not going to hurt a thing. Thank you. Have a great day. So I said this comes off the roll a little bit more twisty or something like that. But in any case, what I don't like about this tape as much is this particular roll anyway, is it doesn't really lay flat. It kind of does a little bit, but it's got lots of spots in it, and you can see it in some of the other lines. Like if you just kind of look at some of the other lines, it's very difficult to get this particular tape to lay flat and keep the emitters down. And when you're doing it like this, I like to have my emitters down. So I'm dripping into the plant. Am I dripping on this? Does this absorb water? Yeah, all that's great. But when I want to feed the garden, I want to drip each plant, and this particular tape doesn't lay very well. So all I'm getting at is, even after it's been flayed a few times, it just doesn't lay very straight and flat. It always goes back to this kind of twisty shape, which some of the other rolls that I've received don't do that. They stay nice and straight once you lay them and inflate them, put a couple staples in them. We're going to try it. So now that I got it on, I got the end secure. I use black tape for that. You don't have to buy the little terminators. Just use black electrical tape, tape it up real good. I'm going to inflate it and put a landscape staple in it, try and get it straightened out, and lay as flat as I can on this run. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Okay, we changed through this thicket of Jerusalem artichokes, where we're propagating our tubers. We changed our manifold system. This is all retail, off-the-shelf component stuff. And we changed it so that all of our garden systems are down on the lower section, and then the upper section is all the cooling systems, the misters, sprinklers, and then we have a line available when I have another 100-foot line that I have to drag it around, but it's for topping off the hydro systems, and it's for topping off the hydro systems, the bottle buckets, and the rafting beds, and then we're adding more rafting beds. We added 2 rafting beds over in the shade over there. And I think the third one's going to go together hopefully today. The other thing we're going to do today is top off all the hydro inside the high tunnel. Morning, birdie birdie. I got to move your cage, but it's also been raining for all morning. Lost a crop of birds. I have seen a fox coming from those woods over there. I suspect he dug a hole underneath, got in here and drug all the birds out, because that's all that's left. That's all we found. Hi, kitty. That kitty right there is a house kitty. He comes outside, but he doesn't live outside like many of the other kitties do. Alright, the line's pretty much inflated. It looks like this might straighten out okay. So what I do to get the rest of it straightened out is I just grab the end and lift it up. I put an extra staple in down at the end. That's why I carry the little Walmart staples with me. Okay, you can see that. I think this piece is going to drip just fine. So then I just lay it back down and then I'll stick a staple in it. From Matt with Low Cash Homestead. Thank you very much. Have a great day. I finally installed this shelf for my dosing bottle. That guy runs a dump truck service. Most of the time it's quiet out here. Actually, through most of the day it's quiet out here. Because people are leaving to go do their work. Okay. We are topping off our hydro tank. I turned it off to let it back drain, and as it turns out, it didn't back drain hardly at all. So that means from here, this is a 27-gallon tank, and I've been using it for a while now. So it's time to top it off. I'm gonna start topping it off at about 10 gallons. That'll get me my water line over the pumps. And then from there, once it's cycling and back flushing and everything, all the pots are running, then I will, 5 gallons at a time, add whatever mixture I need. I anticipate it's going to take about 15 gallons even at full cycle, and I don't ever turn this thing off. I had it set up to timers, but I would get problems with emitters not running after it back drained and turned back on, so I just leave it running all the time. These pumps don't consume a whole lot of power. I think that's a 60 watt, I think that's a 50 watt. So they don't take a lot of power. So next I'm going to add the nutrient. Ratios are 2, 1, 2. Whatever the measurement, I'm using a teaspoon, but whatever your measurement you're using, if you're weighing by grams or You know, if you're on a huge scale and you're making cups of it, whatever. Just 2, 1, 2. This one goes in last after these two have been put in and the systems are cycling and running. You add that last, otherwise you could get nutrient lockout. Never mix that when you mix these. Always do these two first. 2 to 1. That's what we're going to do now. Hey, so to answer the first question, will these even sprout in a hydro system? The answer is yes, they will. So now we're going to, maybe not today, but eventually we're going to thin these down and kind of see what happens. And like I said, this was proof of concept. Will it work? Can I do it? And what kind of carrot am I going to get? Here's a little tomato that fell in there. Tomatoes, we're going to have to reprune and restring these here. And then this box here, I'll show you maybe a little bit more later, I planted some stuff in there, had a mass ton of volunteers in it. And I let it get a little bit out of control. So I'm going to have to do some maintenance on that too. And we'll just take a look, and what's flowering we keep, and what's not we take. So here I'm working on a raft, and this is, I got this is 1.5 inch foam. What we have in town is 2 inch, but it doesn't have these foil layers on it. I was near that area, so I got some. We're laying it out, it's on 6 inch centers, so I just make 6 inch cubes and drill here on every line. The box is 8 by 4. You need 3 pieces of wood, so I cut the box at 4 foot. I'm going to mount them on the insides of the long run. I'm doing that because this is 4 feet wide and I want to have that full width. But that means I'm going to lose length. So I'm going to cut 3 inches off this panel. Now I'm starting to make the holes. This part of the process will take the longest because I'll have to pop out each piece with a screwdriver, and there's over 100 of them. I have the box built. I have the float set in there. Make sure everything's going to be fit. Next we're going to put this plastic in. Good thing about these boxes is kind of a secondary thing, is that they're super easy to take apart. So I can grow something here, and what's actually happening is I'm starving the ground out and doing ground prep at the same time, because I can easily take these off, lay some of that nice fabric down over here, and then I've shifted the garden a little bit more into the shade if need be. So that's going to be the next part of the project. And I hear one of my children calling me. I just got back from settling a "Dad, we need you." Oh boy, here we go. Let's see if he says it again. Okay, well, we're going to start, and then I might be interrupted again. Hey everybody, it's Matt with Location Homestead. Tonight we're having farmer's market dinner. And some of the things that we're having, I actually grew myself. Yeah. Boast, right? And another item, some of the other thing, I did not grow myself. So basically we have sausage with Dutch flathead cabbage, which is a really sweet cabbage. I actually got that from another producer. We have cabbages growing. They are not ready. And then we have this wilted salad, which is a 4 romaine mix with bacon, tomatoes, and we drizzle our bacon grease on top of it. So we have those pictures. Yes, we did. We put up signs with all the pictures, didn't we? Or pictures with signs with, yeah, signs with pictures, right? You saw Daddy make those signs last night, didn't you? Yeah. Alright, so I'm going to turn this down because I know this is pretty loud, but what we're doing is we're just cleaning some beds out. This one here had a lot of comfrey that came through it and just completely eradicated a crop that was in there. We had some lettuces that went bad just because of temperature changes. With Corona and COVID and all that, markets opened 3 weeks late. So 3 weeks in lettuce time, that's kind of a big deal. We don't have a cold storage facility. We're working on that, but that you have to apply through FSA, and FSA has been prioritized to handle CFAP stuff right now. So I'm still talking to them to try and get that process through. All I'm doing here is I do it a couple different ways. What I do is first I take a weed eater and I chop the bed down. Then I take the flamethrower, which we just recently got the flamethrower and I'm finding that I love it. And so then I take the flamethrower and then I'll burn it. Then I'll harrow it a little bit with that little Black & Decker, it's not really a harrow, they called it an oscillating cultivator, but I think of it as an itty bitty tiny harrow. And then I'll rake the bed and then I'll burn it again. So I'm going, we did the weed eat, we're going to burn it, then we're going to harrow it, and then I'm going to burn it again. And this is what I've done with most of these beds. Now these beds didn't have drip tape in them. These little beds here that had weeping line, we can see these little beds here had weeping line, and there's the valve. So I just had to pull all the weeping lines out. This one is probably going to get some of that 5.2 ounce ground fabric. Try and stop that comfrey from coming through. I got a bunch of pepperoncinis that I need to get in. They're started. They could have been in probably sooner, but they weren't. So, okay, that's one of the things we're doing today. All right, so these little 3-foot boxes, we went ahead and we chopped them down. Then I burned them. Then I harrowed them. Then I burned them again. Now I'm just going to put 9 holes in 3 boxes for some pepperoni plants I have. We'll see how far that gets me. I got some other ones over there that I put spinach in. They bolted, and we're going to pull all that spinach out. Also, my cherry tomatoes have really taken off and actually gotten way too thick. So I'm going to try and figure that out too. That's one of the things we're doing today. It's Matt with Low Cash Homestead. Thank you very much. Have a good day. So this is our Adelaide carrot bed. We harvested the Adelaides a couple weeks ago. I've been meaning to get to this and I've just been way too busy. So we're going to try and sprout them in these warm temperatures. I need to look at my notes. I think that might be heat tolerant, but maybe not. If not, I know I have some heat tolerant varieties. But that's a 55-day carrot also. So what we'll do is I already burned it and harrowed it. And I'm not going to burn this one again. This one doesn't usually need much. It's so deep. I have like almost no weed pressure in this box. I can just pluck it out by hand. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to put a bunch of bone meal on this, and then I'm going to harrow it down again. Okay, so there's the bed. What looks like sand is the bone meal, the black stuff, little black specks. That is a 356. And I used about 1/4 of what I would normally dose a bed this size with, because I don't need a whole lot of nitrogen. We got the phosphorus in the bone meal, and then the potassium is in the plant food as well as the phosphorus. And this is not quite soilless underneath, from like the second board down. That's where more of the soil is. This we filled these up with a raised bed mix last season, and then we haven't really amended them much other than to keep putting peat moss and coco coir and perlite and bone meal and stuff like that in them, but not really much additional soil. So we should be good there. I think that's going to work well because it's going to be a carrot bed. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my little oscillating tool and I'm just going to oscillate this all down. We'll rake it, and then that bed will be ready. It's getting pretty late. And then this bed will be ready. It's getting kind of late, so we're just going to get it prepped, and I'll try to get the carrot in it within the next 2 days. I have plans tomorrow off the farm, and then plus it's supposed to be like pouring rain all day. Not that that would matter. I'm inside the high tunnel, but still. Okay, so we got these cleaned out. We got some fabric put in them. We got them burned out. We got some pepperoncinis in there. We got the drip lines hooked up. We did that on all 3 of these small beds that run down this side here. You drilling out that hole, bud?
Yeah.
Yeah? You're making a hole for tomatoes?
Yes.
For more plants?
Yes. You want to try now, Daddy?
Oh, you can keep trying.
You want to try?
You keep trying. Oh! Hold on to it tight. There you go. Yeah, I think maybe Daddy needs a turn.
I'll try.
Okay.
Again.
There you go. The ground over here is hard to make holes in, isn't it? Because Daddy's never done any garden on this part. Getting sweaty?
Yes.
Okay, let's go take a drink and then we'll try some more. Let's walk over here. I've been trying to get the grass done. It's rained so much that it's gotten so high I can't even use the mulch maker. So I did do a good chunk of it yesterday. I'm already over here. Here, let's have a drink. This is what's left of the compost pile. The compost that we had delivered anyway. Alright, we're going to drill some holes out. Put the rest of these tomato plants that I couldn't liquidate in. This area is going to be my kids' garden. I have to keep them, it's for my 11-year-old and my 10-year-old. But I have to rotate the kids through because 1, it's really hot. 2, they all came out and played like madness yesterday. And 3, I got to finish cutting the lawn, but I won't be able to really do that until I get these other things done.